What's up, guys? It's your boys Awoki back out with another Chris Watts video, of course. And today, again, it's very hard to say new, bombshell, shocking when it comes to the Chris Watts case because not a lot of stuff is like new. But myself and hundreds, if not thousands, of other YouTuber channels are trying to find any answers that possibly NK was involved. We were lied to by the detectives, bad detectives, not all of them. And when I say that, is because there's been a whole bunch of different variety of occupations that have come to me: judges, doctors, morticians, police officers, lawyers, like, have come to me and said, that is wrong, that is wrong. And again, everybody has their own opinion. That's why people get a second opinion when it comes to doctors or lawyers. And they're like, oh, I don't agree with this doctor, so I'm going to go to this doctor. We're not all going to agree to disagree, kind of thing. That's why we're trying to find the answers. And when I talk to these professionals, a lot of them, I would say like 80 to 85% say that NK should have been charged with at least an accessory to, how'd they say it? She didn't cause the murder, like she didn't physically put hands on somebody, but she caused the death of these individuals because of what she might have said. Again, we can't find that out because the DA says that information is not needed for us to look at. And he even said himself, there's tons of more information to be given to the public, but he doesn't have enough staffing to do that, in an interview that was on his wife's podcast. So we're going to have to figure it out ourselves. But this one is from truecrimearchive.s. If you guys have not watched the other video I posted not too long ago, we found out apparently there's a burner phone. There's video surveillance of Chris buying that burner phone. Chris is trying to call Nicole Kessinger on that burner. Like, we need to figure out if that is true and validate and fact check it. But until that time, I've been doing some scouring over the internet, trying to see if I can find anything on this. So far, no luck, but I'm not going to give up, okay? But we're going to be watching this video from truecrimearchive.s. Chris Watts' new 2025 shocking details from behind bars. We've heard a lot of stuff from behind bars. I still think to this day that Chris Watts has not said 100% fact. I think that there's still some lies in there. He wants to protect somebody to not ruin their life. And again, I don't think that Nicole Kessinger should spend eternity or life in prison, but like Gypsy Rose, and yes, I'm going to compare, Gypsy Rose pretty much persuaded her mother or her boyfriend to commit said crimes. There's also rumors going around that Gypsy Rose apparently did it herself. I'm not talking about Gypsy Rose right now, but Gypsy Rose was sentenced for 10 years. She did 8 or 7, I think, 7 to 8. And then she got out on, I don't know if it was good behavior or they just were like, okay, time to get out. But Nicole Kessinger should, I feel, and what I've dissected thus far for the year and a half I've been doing this on the Chris Watts case, I think she should have gotten at least 10 to 15 years. She lied to investigators. She lied to FBI, CBI, and that alone isn't a federal offense. I guarantee if I would have done that, I would have gotten locked up. So, with that being said, grab a chair, get comfortable. But first, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by hitting that wiper icon down at the bottom right. Or somewhere. It keeps moving. It's white. It says subscribe. Hit it, and then hit the bell icon. So when I do post videos like this one, you guys will get that little ring notification that I've posted that video. And then you guys can watch, comment, like, and share. And again, I thank you guys so very much for that love and support that you guys continuously show. We just hit 72,000 subscribers, and it's all because you guys sharing and watching with your friends and family or anybody you guys know. And I hope that we will one day hit 100K. But also go over to truecrimearchive.s. Go give him some love. Subscribe, comment, like, and share. They're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and I'd love to help them out. And with that being said, let's get into the video.
A letter arrives. Sealed tight. Heavy. You don't know what's inside. But you know it'll change everything.
Will it?
I'm a new creature now.
This is how he should have cried. We saw nothing like this.
But the nights? They never end. Those are the words written inside. Words from behind concrete walls. Back in 2018, a Colorado...
I'd say the prison walls can't be cozy. You know, they've had like... I know there's a prison not too far where you can like spend the night and just give it a try. I don't think I could do it, but like being in a concrete... I mean, I was in the military. We had concrete rooms, tent rooms when we were in GP mediums and so forth, and in theater. And I mean, those sucked in itself because of the heat, and then you just didn't get showers every single day, and you only got to do the bare minimum: gym, eat, sleep. And that was about it. So just think what Chris has got to do inside the prison walls. I know I think it's a little too comfortable for him. It should be a punishment. It's not, oh yeah, here's a computer, you get to enjoy some content, or you get to watch or talk to some people and possibly get married. Like, we should be making it difficult. Make him go make some license plates, or go hit some boulders and make gravel. I mean, he shouldn't be enjoying this. But yet he's a janitor cleaning up urinals and gosh knows what.
Family tragedy shocked the entire nation. Headlines everywhere. News coverage for weeks. The world watched in horror. Now it's 2025, 7 years later, and there's a different story unfolding. A story most people never hear. A story from inside Wisconsin's prison walls.
But then they also say that Chris is only doing this inside the prison to keep the attention on him because he likes the attention. Sometimes we hear he wants us to stop talking. Then he wants us to continue talking. I don't think he really knows what he wants to do, but...
Someone is writing letters. Letters that reveal things nobody talks about. Letters about daily survival.
I had somebody come to me, what was it? Last week sometime, with like papers like this. I'm not going to say who it is because of safety and legal purposes. They wanted to remain anonymous. Wanted to sell me a stack like this of papers from Chris. I said no, because I don't think they were supposed to be in people's or civilians' hands. But again, the price tag was $5,000. I don't have $5,000. So I just safely declined and said I will not be taking these. Also, I don't know what's inside them. Why would I pay $5,000 for something that they wouldn't even show me what's inside them? It could be random papers that they made. But it's just interesting that somebody came to me thinking that I would buy these when I don't have $5,000. So I have $5.
About fear. About loneliness. About regret. The person writing claims he's changed.
I don't think Chris has regret. Honestly, I hope the Lord has spoken to him, because like I wouldn't say I'm struggling with my research on faith and so forth, and I'm wanting to be closer. I want to do the right things and so forth, and just in my readings and so forth, we're not supposed to, like, you want how they make this sound. You might hate your enemy, but you want the best for your enemy, if that makes sense. You don't want to have anger, you don't want to have hate. But it's really hard with Chris Watts for us because we don't like the man. We really don't like what he did. But is that judging to a fact? I saw a couple of my or a lot of my comments the other day, and people are saying we're not judging him, we're just dissecting him when it comes to analyzing the case and trying to find answers. But what do you think? Are we going too far into the Chris Watts hole? Have we not gone into it enough? I'm just kind of curious because sometimes I'm like on the fence. I'm like, should I be doing this about Chris Watts? But then that's what police officers do, is they want to find the justice and the truth. Well, I want to find the justice and the truth because I feel that Nicole was involved in some shape or form. We just can't 100% prove it. And with little bits and pieces coming out here and there of Nicole possibly knowing about the murders and she just wanted to help out, clean it up, get rid of things, or she knew about the intent that Chris was going to murder his family and she said nothing. It's just all that kind of rolled up into one, and we need to find it factual, that it's true, that it's not fake, and so forth. And that's why I watch these, and then I'm like, I could probably pull one or two things out, but that's about it because everything is almost a redundant of what we've watched. But like me, I've watched Small Soldiers, the movie, thousands of times. I've watched Big Bang Theory over and over and over, thousands of times. Some people just like to watch the same thing over and over because it brings them either nostalgia or comfort or makes them feel like they're at home. It's a good feeling for them. So that's why I watch these, because some of you guys just love to watch the commentary and you guys need somebody to watch with, and I'm going to watch with you. So
Says he's found peace inside. But then he writes this: redemption sounds like tears in the dark. What does that mean? Why would redemption sound like crying? Would you read that letter? Would you want to know what's inside? I did. And what I found, it's darker than you can imagine.
Oh, I want to know.
Stick with me, because what you're about to hear isn't what you expect. This isn't just about one person. It's about a system, a reality, a daily hell that happens behind bars. Right now. Every single day. So let's go back. How did someone from Colorado end up in Wisconsin? After the 2018 tragedy, authorities
because the prison is there to protect Chris. So Chris is not taken out. It's a place for all these kind of criminals, pedophiles, murderers against family, because they don't want the state to be held reliable for an inmate death. Because then if they have all these deaths in prison, they don't get good ratings. And then they possibly won't get grant money, they won't get government assistance, or however the prisons work with the government and accessing funds. But
faced a serious problem. Security threats everywhere. Other inmates made it clear. This person couldn't stay in Colorado. Too dangerous.
Well, even the ones that are with him right now, they said if they got their hands on him, he'd be swimming with the fishes. But probably in a toilet, because that's as far as they're getting to swimming with the fishes.
Death threats came in. Violence was promised. Every single day brought new risks. So officials made a decision. Transfer him far away. To Wisconsin. Not just any Wisconsin facility. Dodge Correctional Institution. Maximum security. This place was built for the worst cases. The most dangerous inmates. 23 hours locked in a cell.
And from my home, he's 3 hours away. And no, I won't go see him. I don't care about Chris. I just want information to be brought forth to have NK interrogated properly. Will we see it? I hope. I pray. But that's it for right now until something bombshell comes out. So that's why I'm watching this, because it said bombshell. So I want to see what bombshell information they have.
Every day. No exceptions. 1 hour outside. That's all you get.
That sucks.
60 minutes of freedom daily. Think about that. 23 hours staring at the same four walls. The routine starts at 5 a.m. No alarm clock. Buzzers wake you. Strip search. Right away. Before you even fully wake up. then count. Guards count every inmate.
Same clockwork. 9 o'clock bed. You sleep from 9 to 5. You get up. You do the same thing. You sit in your cell. You probably clean the floors. You read some books. You write some letters. You take a nap. You wake up. You probably go in the common rooms. Then you go out for your 1 hour of fresh air, but behind a cage. And then you come inside, you eat chow or dinner inside your cell. Because the way the person that I know in this prison is the food is brought to them to eat in their cells. And then you just do it the same thing over and over and over. That would get so boring. So boring.
Making sure nobody's missing. Breakfast comes through a slot, a narrow opening in the metal door. You don't walk to a cafeteria. You don't sit with other people. Your tray slides through. You eat alone. You eat in silence. Then what? You wait. You sit. You think. 4 hours. Maybe you get work detail if you're lucky. But in maximum security, rarely. Chris has gym access sometimes. But that's a privilege. Not a right. Even gym time comes with danger. Other inmates watching. Guards observing. In a place designed for maximum security, everyone looks for weakness. One wrong move, you're done. One wrong
They have nothing but time to watch, listen, and plan.
look. Trouble starts fast. The tension never stops. It hangs in the air like smoke. You feel it when you walk. You feel it when you breathe. You feel it most at night, when darkness makes everything worse. By 2025, things change a bit. Chris got moved to medium security. That sounds better, right? Less restrictions, more programs available. But here's the truth. The isolation, that never really goes away.
I bet Chris can't turn his back to just anybody because prisoners, they got nothing to lose in there. So if somebody's doing life like he is and takes Chris out, what is he going to get slapped with? More time in prison? Like, there are people in there that do not care.
Walls might look different. The rules might be slightly looser. But the loneliness, that grows. That spreads. That consumes you. Have you ever been completely alone for even one full day? Most people can't handle it. They crack. They need human contact.
I don't mind it, but for myself, I don't know about you guys if you like to be alone all day, but I need my kids. I miss them. Deanna, I mean, I don't want to be around, like, I shouldn't say this. I should reword this. I think if you're around your spouse too much, then you lose that kind of like that missing part where when you're gone, like during work, and when you come home, you're like, oh, I've been gone all day. I miss you. But you don't want to be around your spouse 24/7. I mean, some of us do. But sometimes my spouse and I, the Mrs. Z, we need to separate because her likes are a little bit different from mine. And if I'm in here playing games and stuff like that, she doesn't like gaming. She'll go to a different room. So I can imagine that him being alone for so long, unless he's got a cellmate that he's going to be talking to, like we've seen with Dylan and David. So, but could you guys do that? Could you guys survive a few years in prison? I would be dead.
Now imagine that every day. 4 months.
Years.
4 years.
Decades.
4 forever. Research shows something shocking. 80% of inmates have severe sleep problems. 80%.
Yeah, because there's the half the squad or the half the hall is screaming and yelling and possibly making the toilets fill up, and then they flood the whole cell. Like,
They're exhausted but can't sleep. Anxiety won't let them. Every sound at night might be danger. Every footstep might be threat. So they lie awake, staring at darkness, waiting for morning. That's the reality Chris lives. That's the daily hell inside Wisconsin walls. Now let's discuss faith. Because in Chris's cell, one book never leaves the Bible. He reads it daily, studies it, quotes it constantly. At Dodge Correctional,
Yeah, well, I got something better. I got my Action Bible. I need to start reading this. I've read the Bible, but I want to start reading this Action Bible. So I'm excited about that one. But yeah, I got on the TikTok shop. I'm not being sponsored, but if you guys want to pick it up, I mean, it's for those people that can't like sit and read, like, because sometimes when you read the actual Bible, um, the words start like, and I lose my place a lot of the time. And then I love the smell of new books. I know it's kind of a weird thing, but I just want to start reading. So I got the Action Bible, and then I got my one a day with God for Men. I love this. It's every single day. And then my mom just the other day got me this. She calls it the Blessing Pocket Cross. Each day I pray that I will follow the word. I place my life in the hands of the Lord. So I got that. I got my crosses. I got my. I don't know how that got up there. He had his hair. Whew. Jesus loves you. So I'm all about that faith and so forth, trying to find out what we're supposed to do and not supposed to do. So, and murdering is not something you're supposed to do.
Bible study groups meet once or twice weekly. Inmates gather together. They read verses. They discuss. They pray. For many, this is the only positive interaction they get all week.
They get to watch sports occasionally. So he gets to watch his Steelers.
It's not just religion. It's connection. It's community. It's humanity. In his 2025 letters, Chris calls himself a servant of God now. He talks about purpose, about
A reborn creature.
using prison time for spiritual growth. But experts say something important. This happens in prison constantly. About 70% of inmates turn to religion during their time inside. Is it genuine? Sometimes yes.
Yes.
Is it survival?
And it's not bad.
Often yes. Both? Usually. A criminologist who studies prison culture explained it this way. Faith becomes armor. It protects inmates from isolation psychological damage. It gives structure when everything else is chaos around them. But there's a darker side. Something Chris hints at but won't say outright.
What?
Verses get read aloud during group sessions. Everyone nods in agreement. But then lights go out, and you're alone again.
I wonder if it's come across like when they talk about murder and then he has his flashbacks that bother him. I hope so.
Back in that cell, the doubts, they scream, louder than any sermon, louder than prayers. I read about forgiveness, Chris wrote recently. But can I forgive myself? I talk about being new. But at night, I'm still me. That's the daily battle, the hourly struggle, the constant fight between who you're trying to become and who you were before, between the person you present in letters and who you are in darkness. Faith offers hope, real hope, but it can't erase memory.
Hope for what? To get out? He's stuck.
It can't undo what's done. It can't change the past. And in a place like Dodge, where isolation amplifies everything,
And I've heard that he wants to forget. He wants to take that. You're not going to be able to take that out. That was probably the biggest moment in his life. Unfortunately, it was bad. He's never going to forget that. Like the good ones, like remember your child being born or graduating from high school, getting your license from the dealership, and or passing your driver's test and getting married, and like you remember all those big moments in your life. He's not going to forget this one. He's going to remember the good times, but he's also going to remember this one because it's bad. There's things that I did that were stupid as a child and a kid. Not saying I did things I stole from my dad. I remember it to this day, and it was bad. I stole his gold coins. I hate myself for it every single day, but I remember it, how my dad caught me, how I got in trouble, and just the utter disappointment that I felt. And now I feel better because I don't do that. I made sure that I don't steal ever again. And yeah, it's just something as a child or teenager, but you remember it. Chris is never forgetting this. As much as he wants to suppress it down and brush it underneath the rug, this man is never going to forget what happened.
Even Scripture's comfort comes with sharp edges, painful
Ooh,
reminders.
that's a good one.
Even God can't bridge that gap, Chris wrote in December. What gap? Between him and the outside world.
Between his
Him
ears.
and forgiveness. Him and peace. The Bible study sessions help. They give routine. They provide meaning. But they also highlight what's missing. Real connections. Real relationships. Real life. You sit in a circle with other inmates. You read together. You share thoughts. But everyone in that circle, they're broken too. They're struggling too. You're all trying to fix each other with words, with faith, with hope. But deep down, everyone knows you're in hell together. Together is still hell.
But you
The
put yourself
pages
there
of the Bible, the
because you have free will.
quiet moments of reflection, they're real. They matter. They help people survive another day, another week, another year. But they're also a bandage on a wound that won't stop bleeding. When the session ends, you go back to your cell, alone,
Alone.
again, always again. That's when the real test starts. That's when faith either holds or breaks. And some nights, it breaks. It shatters. It disappears completely, leaving you with nothing but darkness.
And it does sound like when he's in there alone, he does break some rules here and there. He's tried to do things that he probably shouldn't, electronics being one of them, phone somehow, some way, and so forth. But he should be punished, and he's getting all this stuff that he's shouldn't be.
And questions. And tears. Here's where the story gets truly painful, where hell becomes personal. Chris has no family visits. None. Zero.
Yeah,
Not a single one.
because it's expensive to go from North Carolina to Wisconsin.
The families affected by 2018, they made their choice. No contact. Ever. Can anyone blame them? No. Absolutely not. Nobody could. Nobody would. But from Chris's perspective, from inside those walls every day, that's torture. A special kind of torture. Hell within hell. No visits means no physical presence. No hacks.
He gets physical presence from that woman that he was trying to marry.
No handshakes.
Because we saw the documentation from, I can't remember the YouTube channel that had it. Oh, I can't remember. But somebody found out, I think, was it Plunder? I think it was Plunder that might have, trying to give the credit where it's due. But they found out that she was visiting on important days like Christmas, New Year's, Chris's birthday, their birthday. Like, they were driving for quite a while too.
No touch. His only connection to the outside? Those pen pal letters we discussed. And even those, they're monitored, limited, controlled completely. Holidays hit hardest,
That would
he wrote
suck.
last year. Christmas,
Christmas, white walls, no Christmas tree, no fireplace, no eggnog, no presents, no spending time with the kids on the holidays, going sledding. Oh man, that would kill me.
Thanksgiving, my birthday. Everyone else gets calls, gets visits, gets care packages. I get nothing, and I know why. I know I deserve this. This is hell I created myself. According to 2025 Department of Corrections records, Chris had 0 visitors. 0. 0 on his birthday. 0 on Christmas.
The woman did.
0 on any single day. The visiting log for his name, completely blank. Year after year, after year. Imagine waking up on your birthday behind bars.
That would
Nobody's
suck.
coming. Nobody's calling. Nobody's even acknowledging you're alive.
Or like the day of the murders. That would be haunted. Or haunting, not haunted.
that you exist, that you matter. For most inmates, visits are everything. What they live for daily. They count down days until mom visits, until sister comes, until friend arrives. But Chris, he counts down to nothing, because nothing's ever coming. The pen pal bonds he's formed, they're absolute lifelines. They keep him alive. These are people he's never met, people who wrote first out of curiosity. Maybe they study psychology. Maybe they're religious volunteers helping inmates. Maybe they just believe everyone deserves someone to talk to. Whatever the reason, these letters keep him breathing. Mentally, emotionally. But here's the catch. Those letters are still monitored. Still limited completely. He can't write
Everything.
about certain things. Can't
He can't shower without being monitored. Take a poop without being monitored. I know I said that on YouTube. Sorry. Take a. Number 2.
receive certain things. Can't build real relationships.
Oh, no, but then, what's her name likes that? Oh, he went to the bathroom.
Its connection with a wall between it. Humanity kept at arm's length. Silence isn't golden, Chris wrote this year. It's suffocating. It's deadly slow. Some days I wonder if anyone remembers I'm a real person anymore.
Nope.
The weight of regret in these letters, it's crushing. Absolutely.
That's like saying Adolf Hitler is still a human being after him annihilating millions. No.
Crushing. You feel it in every sentence, every paragraph, every single word choice. I did this to myself. I know that truth, but knowing doesn't make it easier. I wake up remembering what I took from the world, who I took away, and then I remember I'm still here, still breathing, still existing somehow. Is that fair? I don't know anymore. I don't know anything clearly anymore. Prison officials say Chris's behavior has been stable recently. No major incidents. He follows rules, attends programs, participates when asked to join. But stable behavior doesn't mean peace inside. It just means survival mode. It means learning to exist in a space designed purely to punish.
He wants to keep his mind busy because when he goes to his cell and he's alone, that's when things start to haunt him.
And part of that punishment, the no contact reality, the isolation, the void. Here's something that'll shake you down to your core right now. When fights break out in the facility, when there's lockdown or emergency, nobody's calling Chris's family because there's nobody to call, nobody to notify, nobody who would care. He's alone in ways most people can't comprehend, even by prison standards. Other inmates get support from outside, letters from mom, money from dad on commissary.
He probably gets like letters and phone calls to his family, but he's not getting like touch to touch contact besides that woman. But other than that, he's not getting his family anytime soon.
Money from dad on commissary. Chris gets letters from strangers.
His parents probably give him commissary, so instead of a blue toothbrush, he can get a sparkly blue toothbrush.
That's it. That's his entire support system. And when things get really bad, when darkness gets too heavy to carry, there's nobody coming to pull him out. Nobody to visit. Nobody to remind him he's loved. Just walls and silence and the echo of his own thoughts bouncing back. Let's talk about what happens in the yard. The place where masks drop completely. This is where the civilized act of prison falls apart instantly. The yard is where status gets tested, where reputations get built or destroyed. And Chris? His reputation
Or if he would join a gang or something. Like, or the butt stuff. No, that's not. No.
arrived before he ever did. In prison, certain crimes get you labeled, marked, targeted forever.
Pedophiles, mom killers, family killers, children killers. Like, he's in those categories.
What Chris did in 2018, that's the kind of thing inmates never forget. Ever. They know. Word spreads incredibly fast behind bars. Faster than you'd imagine. So when Chris walks into that
Well, it's like a little small town. You say banana, and everybody knows about it within 5 hours,
Yard.
if that.
Eyes follow him. Whispers start immediately. That's him. That's the guy. You know what he did, right? Some inmates want to test him. See if he'll fight. See if he's weak inside. Others, they just want to make his life harder. Any way possible. One wrong look. That's all it takes. One accidental stare too long. What are you looking at? And suddenly it's on. Fighting breaks out fast. Guards can't stop it quick enough. By the time they reach you, damage is done. Chris has learned to keep his head down. Eyes forward always. Mouth shut tight. But even that's not enough. Being high profile makes you a target regardless. Here's something that'll chill you completely. Something from those letters. Chris overheard a conversation late one night. Voices carrying through cell blocks. A guard and an inmate. Talking, laughing, not knowing anyone was listening close. You hear that crying last night? One voice said clearly. From which cell? That one. End of the block. Goes on for hours sometimes. And then the response. The one showing exactly how dehumanizing this place is. He cries at night. Good. Just that. Just good. Like suffering is entertainment. Like pain is deserved punishment. Maybe it was about Chris. Maybe it wasn't. The letter didn't say clearly. But either way, it reveals the atmosphere, the culture, the everyday cruelty. In prison, showing emotion is weakness. Crying? That's blood in the water.
So he's probably crying in his cell.
Instantly. Other inmates see it as vulnerability.
But he did it to
Guards see
himself.
it as, well, you heard their response. By 2025, Chris's behavior record shows stability. No major fights. No violations. But that doesn't mean tension isn't there.
Right?
It just means he's learned to navigate it. He's learned when to walk away, when to stay silent, when to blend in completely. But isolation amplifies everything. Every sound, every voice, every footstep at night. You hear someone walking past your cell at 2 a.m., your heart races instantly. You hear shouting 3 cells down. You wonder if you're next on the list. You hear crying. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone else. Maybe it doesn't matter anymore. The dark makes everything worse. Way worse. Because you can't see what's coming. You just hear and imagine.
And you know what Chris has coming? Nothing. Besides pain
And wait,
and
and
suffering.
fear. In the dark, tears aren't weakness, Chris wrote. They're the only release allowed. The only time you can admit this place is breaking you piece by piece. Because admitting it during the day, that's not safe. That's not allowed here. Think about that deeply. Having to hide your pain during daylight hours completely. Having to act tough, act stable, act like you're fine when you're not. And only in complete darkness, when nobody can see you.
Well, he has no emotion, so what is anybody going to know what he's thinking? Chris Watts in prison is just like this. That's it. Like he's stone face, cold, nothing.
That's when you can break. That's when you can feel what you're actually feeling inside. The yard shows the violence, the fights, the territorial battles between inmates. But nighttime, that shows the psychological warfare, the mental breakdown, the slow erosion of self. So here we are, 2025, 7 years since those original tragic events. The question everyone's asking, has Chris really changed? Or is he just surviving daily? His letters claim self-forgiveness. They talk about
He has nothing but time to make stories.
growth, about spiritual transformation. He says he's not the same person who entered prison. Says he's been reborn completely.
Well,
But experts,
technically that's true because he's not free.
they're not convinced. And honestly, it's impossible to know for sure. Psychologists who study incarceration say this. Change is possible. It definitely happens. But real
Chris,
change requires more than just time. More than just reading scripture daily. It requires therapy, community support, processing trauma, building new healthy patterns. And in a place like Dodge, with ongoing isolation, those resources are extremely limited. Chris has access to some programs, Bible study like we discussed, maybe group therapy sessions, but intensive psychological rehabilitation, the kind that creates lasting
Oh yeah, he probably gets that free.
change, that's rare. That's expensive. That's not prioritized in most facilities like this.
Um, prisoners get free healthcare.
So what we're left with is uncertainty. A person claiming change with limited proof. Is his faith genuine? Maybe. Is his regret real? Probably yes.
I don't
But is he
think so,
fundamentally
but
different? Or has he just learned to cope with impossible circumstances?
that one.
One prison reform advocate put it this way recently. We ask if inmates have changed, but we don't ask what environment they're changing in. Imagine trying to heal in the place that's actively traumatizing you
He's
every
adapting.
single day. That's the paradox. Prison is supposed to rehabilitate, but mostly it just punishes hard. And punishment, that doesn't automatically equal change. Sometimes it just equals broken survival. Wisconsin has made reforms. We mentioned those earlier. Better classification systems now. More programming available. More attention to mental health. More humane treatment standards overall. But Chris's situation shows the limits clearly. He's in medium security now. That's progress. He has more freedom than 2018. More access to programs. Better conditions overall. But the isolation, that persists. The no-contact
What, he gets an extra towel and an extra scoop of mashed potatoes? Like, I mean, I don't see a going up.
situation, still there. The targeting, still ongoing. So reforms help. But they don't fix everything. They can't fix everything wrong. Here's the real question. Is this redemption? Or just resignation to fate? Has Chris found peace? Or has he just found a way to endure another day? Maybe it's both. Maybe redemption in prison looks different than redemption outside.
What is your guys' thoughts on this so far? We're sitting at 2009. Let me know your thoughts. I'm just curious to see who has watched it this far and actually write down the timestamp and actually tell me so far what their thoughts are. Is Chris Watts redeemed? Is he reformed? Is he a new person? Is he supposed to be let out and make changes? Or is he right where he deserves to be until his day of death?
Maybe finding a way to wake
And it sounds like possibly by prisoner.
up every day and not completely fall apart. Maybe that's its own form of change, its own kind of victory somehow. So what do we take from this story? What does it teach us? What does Chris's daily hell show us about the system? About justice? About humanity itself? Here's what's clear. Isolation as punishment works. It destroys people, breaks them down completely. But does it rehabilitate? Does it make someone better? That's way less clear. The systemic failures are obvious. No contact with loved ones. Limited mental health support available. Environments that traumatize more than they heal. Policies that punish more than they prepare. Chris's situation is extreme. Most inmates have some outside support. Some visitors.
He
Some
gets
hope.
nothing.
But his extreme case shows us what happens when the system is pushed to its absolute limits. It shows us what pure isolation does to a human being over years, over time, over decades. Prison reform advocates say this.
He hasn't
We need to
got decades
decide what
yet.
we want prisons to actually do. Punish?
I want to see what happens after like 20 years of him being in prison. Let's see how he feels then.
They already do that. Incredibly effectively. Without question. But prepare people for reentry. Build skills. Address trauma. We're failing there completely. The hope in Chris's Bible study? That's real. Faith helps people survive impossible situations. But survival isn't the same as thriving. Isn't the same as healing properly. The outreach from pen pals? That's beautiful. Human connection matters deeply. But monitored letters aren't the same as real relationships. Real support systems that last. So where does that leave us? What should happen next in these situations? These are questions without easy answers. Questions requiring uncomfortable conversations about justice, about mercy, about what we owe to victims, what we owe to society as a whole, and what we owe to the humanity of even those who've done horrible things. If this story moved you,
Hmm.
hit that like button. Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more deep dives into true crime, into prison realities, into systemic issues. What do you
We're going to leave it there because they're just doing their outro now. So definitely food for thought. It looks like Chris Watts is obviously not having a good time in prison. Thank you. Is it wrong for us to want punishment on somebody like this? Or is it something that we should be turning into a good light for Chris? Like, you don't want to go out of your way to find the negatives in somebody, but it's really hard because Chris is a quadruple murderer. And where does that line teeter in between? Do we hate him? Is he glad to be in prison? Or are we glad to have him in prison? Are we hoping that something happens to him? Like, all that stuff is in a lot of our heads. But is that right to do? Like, I want to find out the truth, of course, with Chris Watts and Nicole Kessinger. But I'm just kind of curious, is it right to be so hard on... I'm trying to find the words to say right. Like, we don't want to be good on him or easy on him. We want to be ruthful. We want to be stern because we want to find the answers. And I don't think we found the answers yet completely. But let me know your thoughts. If you agree, disagree. Are you glad he is this way in prison? What's the next thing we're going to hear about in prison? Is Chris Watts dead, or is Chris Watts becoming a minister? I don't know. Like, I don't know how much stuff they can do in prison that would actually be beneficial. I mean, the only thing I would think for him is to be 6 feet in the ground, because then you don't have to be in the prison cell anymore. But what's to say what's going to happen when he goes? Like, there's always these what ifs. What if I was an multi-billion-dollar owner of a toy factory? I would love to make toys. That would be so much fun. But again, your thoughts down below. Please let me know your thoughts, opinions, and then share with other friends and so forth and see what they think. And let's all debate in here. We can debate and not get mad and yelly at each other. Yelly? I don't think yelly is a word. But we can coexist and talk, debate, and go out amongst our days without yelling and screaming and saying hurtful things. But again, description or comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe to both channels. We'll see you guys in the next video. Please take care, be safe. As always, keep nerding on, and we will see you guys in the next video.